Welcome to the program, everyone. I'm Brian, always joined by my wife and co-host Kathy. Okay, so a new video just came out of Biden. It was from a fundraiser last night. He was leaving Terry McAuliffe's house. Terry McAuliffe used to...
Oh, I didn't see this video.
Yeah, it's bad. Terry McAuliffe used to be the governor of Virginia. He was the head of the DNC when Clinton was president. And Biden can't even get into the car by himself. He had to have help. Jill was there. So it's really bad. Now... one of the most disliked people in the history of cable news is back. Brian Stelter, he's on CNN. They fired him, which was probably the only smart thing CNN's done in decades, firing Brian Stelter. I mean, he's less likable than Ben Shapiro, right? I mean, he's just not a likable guy. But he's talking about these videos of Biden. Listen.
That's what we're seeing. That's what the Biden administration, the Biden campaign is so worried about right now. But make no mistake, they are worried about this. This is a real problem. This is not some made-up fiction. The videos are oftentimes made up, but the problem is real. Because some of us, Abby, watch a 40-minute speech by Biden. We see the full context. Other people only watch a 5-second clip.
Okay. So this is a new thing they started today, and Brian Stelter's not the only one saying this. They're talking about this new thing, this cheap fake, right? The reason this is what they're telling us, okay? Okay, some of the videos are real, but they're out of context. You got to watch the whole 40-minute speech, and then that part where you think he's checked out, he's really with it. And it's only because you're taking these isolated moments that he looks checked out. I saw him, he took a photograph at this fundraiser in California, the one with George Clooney, and Obama's in it, and Julia Roberts. And by the way, George Clooney's wife is trying to arrest the Prime Minister of Israel, Netanyahu, and having put on trial for war crimes in the world court, okay? I mean, why are the Democrats, no one in the media...
I read in the Inquirer their marriage is in big trouble.
I don't know about that. I don't know, but they're married now, and I don't see anyone in the media calling Obama and Biden out for... having parties with a guy who's trying to put the Prime Minister of Israel in prison. But anyway, this is a still photo. It's Obama, Biden, Julia Roberts, and George Clooney. And he's totally checked out. Mm-hmm. He doesn't know where he's at. He probably thinks that the best you could hope that he thinks is that Obama's the president, he's the vice president. He may be wondering, who's this black guy here? Who are these people? But if you look at his hands have this weird positioning, which
they're rigid. They're rigid. It's like his whole body freezes up, not just his face.
That's right.
His whole body gets rigid.
Yeah.
And this is a really stupid tactic by the media to gaslight people. They've done it before, but this is really bad. They're basically telling you that you're dumb and that what you're seeing is not real.
Yes.
Okay? Watch the Ingrid Bergman movie, Gaslight. That's what's going on here. They're telling you what you see is not reality. What you're seeing is not true when you know it's true. We're not dumb. We know what we see. A picture's worth 1,000 words. And all you have to do is when you look at Biden is look at the people around him, how they're acting. And that really highlights how bad he is. Because they're normal and moving and fluid and talking and moving in a normal way. And he is literally frozen.
Yeah.
So if you compare him to the people around him, it really looks bad. You know what I mean? It's bad enough if he's by himself. But this whole idea of them telling us that what we're seeing is not real is, to me, an absolutely insane way to approach it. And it tells me that Biden is refusing to step down.
Yeah.
And so now they have to go with this lie because they can't get him to quit. Yep. So now they're going to run with this. Because all of a sudden, they're telling us this after months and months and months of bad videos. Mm-hmm. That tells me that he's refusing to leave, and now they got to do damage.
And in the last less than 48 hours, okay, in less than 48 hours, the mainstream media have spent 48 to 49 hours already. People compile, keep track of this in media watchdog groups. In less than 48 hours, the mainstream media have spent 48 to 49 hours of reporting on this cheap fake thing, right? Which everybody knows is not true. So you're right.
They're panicked.
It shows
he's
us
not leaving.
It shows us that he's staying.
And they're stuck with it, and they got to do damage control now.
This, it's going to get worse because we're getting closer to the campaign, and they got him doing all kinds of stuff. If you go to my Twitter, Brian Craig Show on Twitter, I did tweet the video and article about this thing at Terry McAuliffe's house last night where he couldn't get into the car. It's really bad. And
I have to watch that.
It's frightening stuff. And this cheap fake, I've been asking everybody I know. No one's heard of this before. And I think it's a CIA deep state term that they use when they manipulate news because it seems to be like an industry term with these people.
What did they say?
Cheap fake.
With when Hillary was getting in that car on the 9/11 memorial in New York, and she was stumbling. Remember, and they had to basically carry her into the SUV.
Yeah.
And she was falling down. That really damaged her. Not that she was going to win, but when that happened, I remember it was a big shift for her.
It was over.
And it was over because they wouldn't tell you what was going on. They wouldn't say, so everybody was speculating on her health. And I think she was just still hungover from partying the night before, basically.
She went to the 9/11 ceremony and
she was like Justin Timberlake.
Alcohol dehydrates you. And I think it was a mix of a hangover and a heat stroke that was alcohol related. She was and she was still drunk.
Yeah, I mean, you this has never happened to me because I was never a big drinker. But when I was in college, I had friends that could drink any sailor under the table, and I'm not joking. And they would drink so much, they were drunk well into the afternoon the next day. They're like, I'm still drunk, Kathy. I'm still feeling it. So you can drink that much where it's still in your system.
Yeah.
And that's what it looked like to me. Mm-hmm. But it was very damaging. And Biden is having, that was one video. He's having dozens of videos this.
Every event
now. So what I think is going to happen is something has changed. And for me, what has changed is that they have realized he is not going to leave. So now they have to do the damage control because up until now they've been letting it happen because they've been wanting to force him out. And they've actually been attacking him and I think pushing him. But he's not giving in. So now they're going to start protecting him because they're like, well, we're stuck with this guy. So now they're in protection mode. And I think you will not see him for a while in the public eye. They're going to let him rest now till the debate if he does it. And then you will not see him for a while because they've been running him ragged to get these visuals.
Well, the debate,
and it's not giving the result they want.
The debate is next week.
Yeah.
And I think he'll do fine in the debate because what they'll do is they'll pump him full of whatever they pump him full of.
That's what Trump said yesterday.
Right before.
That's what Trump said.
He'll get through it. You know, the thing is to see him after. And you're not. And about a year or so ago, a reporter was at a Biden event, and Biden showed up, and he was totally out of it, like a child, right, like an infant. And they saw Jill hand him something that he put in his mouth. He took it, and shortly thereafter, he was all pepped up,
like Dr. Jekyll and Mr.
Exactly.
Hyde.
Now, before we move on to our next topic, because we definitely have to do that, I want to talk to you guys about Mike Lindell and the My Coffee. You know, the My Coffee is incredible, and I know a lot of you have been ordering the My Coffee. Mike Lindell's My Coffee is 50% off with our promo code Kane at checkout, Kane, at mypillow.com. And it comes in every roast from light up to dark, okay? And I give people a little tip. The lighter the roast, the higher the caffeine content. So I like the light roast. The darker it is, the less caffeine. It has to do, I guess when they roast it, it cooks out the caffeine. That's true with all coffees. The lighter the roast, the heavier the caffeine content. And Mike Lindell's coffee, 50% off with our promo code Kane at checkout, Kane, comes in ground. It comes in whole bean. It comes in the Keurig cups as well. So go to mypillow.com and order the MyPillow My Coffee, 50% off with our promo code Kane at checkout, Kane.
I have a tip. If you have young children, you should move to Louisiana. And I just sent you this article. The Louisiana governor just made it a law that every classroom has to display the 10 Commandments.
Yeah, that's awesome.
Every public classroom. It just went into law today.
Yeah.
So if you have young kids, maybe consider moving there. maybe they'll You told me, now this didn't happen to me, maybe because I grew up in South Florida, but you went to school in for a while. You lived in Okeechobee, which is like the South.
It's the Hicks.
And it's not that far from here, but it's kind of the area near Lake Okeechobee. North of that, you're like in the South.
Yeah.
South of Lake Okeechobee, it's more like being in like New York or something. There's so many people here, different types of people. But you told me that they used to hand out Bibles in your public school.
No, not just Bibles.
That didn't happen here. Public school.
They gave out pocket editions of the New Testament. They didn't even have the Old Testament in it. It was just the New Testament, and it was red letter edition of the New Testament only. And they went to every classroom and gave them out for free. Yeah.
Well, this is interesting
in
because,
5th grade.
Of course, they say the law violates the separation of church and state,
which doesn't exist,
and is blatantly unconstitutional.
There's no separation of church and state. That's a lie.
That whole law, and they know this. That whole law was, and I just learned this in that Killing the Witches book by Bill O'Reilly. Is there was so much division in the early colonies with religion. Every colony practiced their own religion. You had Anglicans, Puritans, Quakers, and it's like Virginia, there were more Anglican, or in Maryland was more Quaker or Puritan or whatever. Each colony had a governor, and they had their own state religion. So when they were forming the Constitution, they actually fought about this issue, and they finally agreed they did not want to have a state or any official religion. They wanted people to have the freedom to practice.
There was a little bit more than that. It was because you were the Church of England. They didn't want to have a Church of the United States too. They didn't
exactly. They didn't want to have. Well, a lot of them didn't want a federal government at all, but they did not want the states to have an official religion.
Yeah.
This was when they were colonies before they became a country, and it was a major contention back then. Even he said in the book, even more than the issue of slavery was the issue of religion was very divisive. So when they did the Constitution and they had the Constitutional Convention in the 1780s, they had decided that there will be no official religion of anything, that people can worship as they want. That's it. There was nothing about not having religion in schools or not have. So now they've kind of, the people that are for this have kind of successfully made the case that that's not what that constitutional amendment meant, but also that you're restricting religious freedom by keeping this out. But what I worry about is, that then you have the satanic people come along and say, well, then we want our laws posted in the schools, or, you know what I mean? So we'll see where this goes. I'm sure it'll be fought in the courts, but it is now required in Louisiana, every public school to have the 10 Commandments.
That's where they had that judge that had the 10 Commandments, and they made the 10 Commandments judge, and they're always out to atheists they don't realize this because they're so arrogant and evil, but atheists really have become their own religion. Atheism has become a religion.
Oh, sure.
And it's
It says here they're going to hang posters in the classrooms paid through donations. State funds will not be used to implement the mandate, but it'll be interesting. This is what's kind of funny. You have all these teachers that display the pride flag, the Black Lives Matter posters.
Not in Florida.
Right? Well, not in Florida, but in other states, right? They hang those things in their classroom. I wonder if teachers are going to tear these down.
Oh, yeah.
How is it okay to hang up a Black Lives Matter poster or a gay flag, but it's not okay to hang up the 10 Commandments?
Yeah.
I personally think there's nothing wrong with the 10 Commandments, but I don't view the 10 Commandments as a political thing. To me, it's religious, so it's a different category. But I don't like teachers that hang up their personal political beliefs in the classroom. I don't think it's appropriate, but some would make the same argument about this. Well, this isn't appropriate either. So,
well, the United States is a Judeo-Christian country. Okay,
well, they're trying to change that,
and I know they'd like to change that. But these illegals that they're trying to replace us with, they're all Catholic.
They're all Catholic.
So they're Christian too. So they got some problems. Now I want to.
That's why the Catholics are so pro illegals coming in.
Well, the Catholic Church is pretty liberal.
Because they get more people in their churches.
Yeah.
It's more money for them. I hate to say that, but that's a big part of it.
And I want to get into this article about Tulsi Gabbard. And the reason I bring this up is, and Tulsi Gabbard is the title of the episode and the thumbnail on YouTube. Tulsi Gabbard is a Trojan horse. Okay,
You said that all along.
I've been telling you guys. You mentioned Tulsi Gabbard, and a lot of people get excited because she's in the military, she surfs, and all this stuff, and she goes shooting. She is a Trojan horse. She is very liberal. She supports legalization of all drugs. She supports the Green New Deal. And there's an article about her in the USA Today. I want to go through this. I'm going to read from the USA Today. Tulsi Gabbard has made a significant shift in her political path since leaving the Democrat Party in 2022 and registering as an independent. The one-time presidential candidate, which she was a Democrat candidate, by the way, okay, and four-term Congresswoman's career was defined by championing progressive politics such as gun control, climate action, which is the Green New Deal, and abortion rights. Now she's actively tossing her name into the mix to be Donald Trump's running mate. Tulsi Gabbard, I don't know why so many conservatives get excited about Tulsi Gabbard other than the couple things I mentioned. She is a hardcore liberal. And even though she may not officially be a Democrat, she really still is.
That article has some of her quotes that weren't that long ago that are very liberal.
Exactly. What she's doing now is not what she wanted to do. She was trying to become the Democrat senator from Hawaii, and that failed. So she's gone this route to make a living, and I'm sure she makes a pretty good living doing this independent thing. And I don't mind. She can go out there, and I don't mind listening to her. But what I'm saying, we don't want liberals infiltrating the MAGA movement, and the MAGA movement is the future of politics. So a lot of people that are these lifelong political animals, they're trying to get into the MAGA movement for a couple reasons. One, to screw it up, right? Like that's what she would like to do, screw it up. And the other thing is, if you want to have a political future right now, you want to be in the MAGA movement. Now, let me get back to this article.
And then I sent you another article, very interesting.
Okay, this is again in the USA Today. Tulsi Gabbard's new positions may attract some conservative voters, but they risk alienating MAGA supporters who question her ideological consistency. That's what I've been doing, okay? Right. And remember, she was running for president in the last election as a Democrat. Scott Walker, who was governor of Wisconsin, if you may remember, he said he welcomed Tulsi's recent political transformation. He said it might be worth Trump tapping her for a cabinet job. Maybe he will. Goodness. I'm going to support whoever Trump brings in because I'm always going to support Trump.
I think that's what she's trying to do.
But they're trying to push her to be Secretary of Defense.
Yeah.
And you don't want that. During her time in Congress, Tulsi maintained a 100% voting record with Planned Parenthood and NARAL. Those are the two top abortion groups. She supported regulating abortions during the third trimester only. And I mean, it goes on. She is been very, very outspoken in favor of abortion. She all the way up to 2020, they have her supporting a ban on some of the most common guns, including rifles, and even the most hardcore gun activists don't talk about rifles; they talk about handguns. So she got an F rating from the NRA. And she's big.
Yeah, that's not good.
She's big into climate change, support the Green New Deal, and has supported the legalization of all drugs, which includes crack, powder cocaine, heroin, all the big ones.
So ask yourself this: was she always a conservative but pretended to be a Democrat to win?
No.
Is it possible for a person to make a complete 180 on every single political topic?
No.
I've never seen that happen before.
No, it's not. It's not possible.
I mean, she's ridiculous. I sent you another article. They just did a survey at your alma mater, FAU. Read that. This is fun. they're floating the idea of Casey DeSantis being the next governor.
Oh, good luck.
And they matched her up against Byron Donalds. And I think another Floridian, if you read the article, it'll tell you. And she won, apparently, by a large
did a
amount
poll.
at FAU, your school.
That's where I went to college. I did my graduate work at Trump University, but my undergraduate was at Florida Atlantic University. And they got Casey DeSantis against Byron Donalds, Matt Gaetz,
that's it.
and Jimmy Petronas. I'm not sure who Jimmy Petronas is.
I have no clue.
But she won that poll. I mean, has anybody even heard her talk? I've heard her talk once. Okay, like once, and that's it. I mean, do you know anything about her? This is what I know about Casey DeSantis. Okay, she is the one that screwed up her husband's political future. She got worked up by Jeb and Jeb's wife Columba, and talked Ron DeSantis into running against Trump.
Well, why did they even do this poll? I mean, is this something that DeSantis are even considering? He's going to be the first gentleman now?
No, there's no way.
That's nuts.
There's no way.
So why even do this poll?
There's no way. Because Florida Atlantic University, which is where I did go to college.
It's a very good school.
I did go to college there.
Yeah, it's a very nice school. It's
a very good school, and it's a pretty big university, and they're trying to become more prominent. And they're getting involved in a lot of political polls to get into the news to try to elevate the credibility of the university.
Well, that's such a stupid poll to have.
It is a very dumb poll to have.
Why not have something a little more credible? But
the polls from Florida Atlantic University have been making the news, the national news, a lot. They've been they've been in the national news a lot. I've seen them, which is really surprising. You know, they're all I don't know. I think I might be one of the most well-known alum. You know who else went to Florida Atlantic University? Byron Donalds' wife.
Oh, I didn't know that.
It's
a very nice school, right? 2 minutes from the beach.
Yeah, and we went there at the same time. And I don't know. Maybe I was in classes with Byron Donalds' wife. I might very well have been. But I mean, that's just stupid.
They have a beautiful
Casey DeSantis for
football
governor.
stadium. Their basketball team's doing incredible. The football team sucks.
Mm-hmm.
The stadium's incredible. I mean, it's a beautiful campus, but I thought that was interesting. But if you have a college that's getting into political polls and they want to get coverage in the liberal media, aren't they going to have the polls swaying to the left so the media will cover it and give them that attention? You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
All these polls are just...
You know, Florida Atlantic University is one of the best schools to go to because because where it's located. It's here in Florida, not too far from Mar-a-Lago, not too far from our house.
2 minutes from the beach.
Yeah, exactly. It's
amazing.
Less than 5 minutes from the ocean. And it's a beautiful school, and it's a very good school. Pretty. And I'm glad I went there.
Very modern.
Yeah. I mean, I went to college as an adult, okay? Yeah. But it used to be, back in the Second World War, it used to be a naval air station. And some of the parking lots are the old runways that have been paved over from World War II. And you could, when you're in the parking lot, you can tell they're like a mile long.
They have brand new dorms. It's just a beautiful.
It's beautiful.
If I was in high school now, that's where I'd want to go. It's just a beautiful school.
Absolutely.
But I thought that was interesting. I get this. I get these news apps, and this is News Break, the app, and it's, I guess, localized. Yes. To your region.
The Florida Atlantic University polls I've seen in national news several times in the last couple months. Listen, we're going to take a quick break. When we get back, oh boy, you do not want to miss the next segment, I promise you. Oh boy, wait till you hear this. I'm Brian, always joined by my wife and co-host Kathy. We'll be right back.
Have you ever heard that laughter is the best medicine? You'll find out how true that is with your weekly Therapy podcast, available on all podcast platforms. Host Tell and Anne-Marie, your not-so-typical therapist and nurse practitioner duo, have a flair for ADHD and life's hilarities. They'll make you laugh, cry, and maybe even rethink some of your life choices. And that's just in one episode. And no topic is off limits. Tell and Anne-Marie discuss everything from gaslighting, daily life with ADHD, ADHD, and relationships. Add your weekly therapy podcast to your podcast playlist, available on Spotify, Apple Podcast, and wherever you listen to podcasts. And you can catch the video podcast on YouTube. Don't just cope, laugh, learn, and sip some therapy. It's therapy with a twist. Share the podcast on all your social media so your friends can tune in too. Your weekly therapy podcast. Start listening right now. You've heard the news. People all over America are moving to new cities, new towns, even new states. But before you pack up and move your entire family, ask yourself this. Do you know anything about that new neighborhood? Don't just relocate. Relocate with confidence. Visit Maptimum.com. That's spelled MAP, Timum. And get to know your new neighborhood before you even pack a box. Whether it's across the state or across the country, Maptimum provides detailed, instantly generated reports on everything you need to know about your new neighborhood, from crime to schools, natural hazards, political leaning of the neighborhood, demographics, air quality, AI-generated insights, and more to help you vet your options. All you do is go to Maptimum.com, enter the area, the name of the neighborhood, or the zip code. That's it. You get a comprehensive snapshot at your fingertips. No more guessing and no surprises. So before you make that big move, make the smart move. Visit Maptimum.com. That's MAP, Timum. They cover the entire United States. Maptimum.com, your first step to a new beginning. Maptimum.com. How would you like to take a wonderful, relaxing shower with handmade rose soaps? Then visit Lionse on Etsy. That's Lionsse. The rose soaps at Lionse on Etsy are made with removable petals. They're designed to give you a posh and indulgent shower experience. You use just one petal for each shower, with about 25 petals per flower and 100 petals in a box. Each box has you set for 3 months of luxurious showers. The petals dissolve in water, creating a deep, rich lather that fills your shower with the indulgent fragrance of a rose. These petals are crafted with care, combining the finest ingredients and shaping them into a beautiful, larger rose. Lionse crafts vivid rose soaps. They use premium soap base, organic beeswax, and organic rose essential oil. Simple yet sophisticated, Lionse soaps offer a delightful, refreshing experience, one petal at a time. Visit the shop right now on Etsy at lionse.etsy.com. That's Lionsse. Lionse.etsy.com. Transform your shower into a luxurious ritual. Lionse.etsy.com. Men, are you tired of looking tired? You can turn your tired eyes into a vibrant and refreshed look with a specially formulated under-eye cream for men at Amazon.com/shops/Meditati. That's MEDITATI. This anti-aging formula is designed to repair and protect your eyes against the common signs of aging. Dark circles, puffiness, and those pesky crow's feet gone. With Meditati, you'll say goodbye to those tired eyes and hello to a youthful appearance. It's packed with peptides, vitamin C, jojoba oil, green tea, CoQ10, and other essential ingredients. This formula will keep your under eyes bright and refreshed. It also keeps your skin hydrated with the highest quality natural and organic ingredients. It's crafted by skincare experts, and this non-greasy, lightweight formula absorbs quickly and efficiently, nourishing the skin around your eyes. So if you're tired of puffiness and wrinkles, go right now to Amazon.com/shops/Meditati. That's MEDITATI. Don't miss out on this chance to give your eyes the care they deserve, because you and your eyes deserve it. Amazon.com/shops/Meditati.
You are listening to The Brian Craig Show podcast, broadcasting from sunny South Florida. Brian is joined by his wife and co-host, Kathy. Follow Brian on social media at BrianCraigShow.com. And now, Brian and Kathy.
Welcome back, everyone. I'm Brian, always joined by my wife and co-host Kathy. Joe Rogan had Louis C.K. on, and Louis C.K., of course, Hollywood guy, is a liberal, and he supports having the southern border completely open. And, you know, I love these Hollywood people. You can't work on any of their productions without being a card-carrying union member. There's no undocumented people on any of their sets. And since they do their work in English, not Spanish, these are not people coming after their jobs, okay? And these Hollywood elitist, although Louis C.K. is kind of at the bottom of the Hollywood elitist thing, right?
I don't even know exactly who he is.
He's a comedian. You'd recognize him. I'd kind of forgotten about him. They tried to cancel him because they had, there were some things a few years ago. But anyway, he's back. The Hollywood people don't see them coming after their jobs. They don't worry about them. And they view them as people that are coming here to, take care of their lawns and clean their houses and be nannies and stuff, They view them almost like a slave population, the Hollywood people. That's why they support the open border. But Joe Rogan had Louis C.K. on, and I like listening to liberals sometimes because when you listen to them, you kind of get an idea of where they're coming from, and I think it's important to understand. I mean, they're, of course, wackadoodle people. So let me play that. This is Louis C.K. on Joe Rogan's podcast. Listen, about the open border.
But my feeling is they should open the border. And just let them pour in, let everybody pour in, and then the answer, which is, well, then there'll be all these problems. Yes, there should be. It shouldn't be so great here, is what I'm saying.
I mean, he's not kidding. It shouldn't be. When he says here, it means the United States. He's saying that it's too great in the United States. It shouldn't be this great, and the United States needs to be brought down to the rest of the world. And he gets into details. This is crazy.
In America, it shouldn't be. It's a weird thing to sequester a certain group of people and try to keep upping their lifespan and their lifestyle, and just keep trying to increase that for this group of people, and then this pressure of people trying to come in so they can enjoy it, and then it gets worse and worse down here. I mean, I'm not in Canada. It's really just from down here. There's something wrong with that. That's not a system that's working. And it forces people to do cruel things to other people. There's a lot of people that die so Americans can be safe. They're just dying, weddings that are drone bombed in Yemen because a guy said something that might have resulted in American insecurity. Not even like definite American deaths, but like just so we can breathe a little easier. Folks die. And folks do labor in unsafe places so that we can keep the prices where we like them. There's so much about American life that other people pay for. That's part of it. But also, it's not good for us either. It's not a good way to live in a gated community, If you let folks pour in, like any other wave, it'll kind of slosh. And then things will be different. I don't know, what'll really happen? A bunch of people, will they just come with knives and start killing everybody? I don't think so.
They're killing a lot of people.
This is why it's bad to smoke a J before you do interviews, because he's just rambling and all over the place and making no sense to me. I mean, I don't even know what the hell he's talking about.
No, he's making a lot of sense, and whether or not he's high or not. If he's high, it's just making him more honest. He said what he's saying is that America is a gated community of elitism, that we have it too good, and it's not right.
I'm sure he lives in a very nice home. Whoever he is, he's a comedian, I guess. I love these rich elites.
Yeah,
that it's just like the let them eat cake. I mean, they're up in their ivory towers. And they're telling everybody, like, I watched this interview with Don Lemon. This clip. He was interviewing this black woman. I don't know who she was. And she was saying to him how there's real issues in the black community that people are not understanding, that they're really struggling. And he goes, oh, please. I mean, he is so out of touch with what real people
He's a millionaire.
Are dealing with in his mansion in the Hamptons or wherever the hell he is. And she says this to him, and he just waves it off like, oh, please. Yeah. Like, he really doesn't understand. These people are so far removed from reality.
That's right.
But the problem is they're the ones that have so much influence over policy and what people say. This guy, then, if what he's saying, it's easy for him to say when he's a millionaire, like Steve Harvey. It's easy for Steve Harvey to say that we owe him money when he's worth $50 million. I mean, it's easy for Whoopi Goldberg and Joy Behar to poo-poo real problems that real people have when they live in penthouses on Fifth Avenue. I mean, these people, I really think Americans are just sick and tired of this elite class shitting on them day after day. I'm sorry for the graphic thing, but that's really what it is. It's like, you don't matter. Your worries don't concern me, and you shouldn't be worried about putting food on the table. And that's just just crazy.
You know, the thing about
they can't even conceive real issues.
The thing about Louis C.K. that I like, and the reason I share this is I know he's not the most famous celebrity, but he is in that celebrity circle, okay? And what he did was share how they think, and they don't. These other leftists, they all think like this.
Yeah, he's just so out of touch. He doesn't even realize how bad he sounds.
They're just smart enough not to vocalize it.
Right.
You know, and he's giving you a very honest perspective of how your average Hollywood Democrat elitists feel about the country.
That's what I'm saying. He probably
and
did
these
something
people
before the interview, and he's just
yeah.
And then went home and he thought, oh crap, what did I say?
These people, they think we have it too well. We're not living in Malibu. Right? We're not living in Malibu.
These are people.
These are people that they live in Malibu.
Yeah.
They
have butlers, for God's sakes.
They have
people that do their laundry.
They fly around on private jets. They spend the summers in Italy. You know, and I can understand when you're at that level. You think, wow, people got it really good here. But 99.999999999% of Americans don't live like that.
Yeah, they're the 1%.
And work very, very hard. I read an article yesterday. It was fascinating. It said the lowest 20% of income people in this country work little or no hours a week. And the hardworking middle class with 3 or 4 jobs are supporting them. You understand what I mean? People in this country work very, very hard. And whatever lifestyle that we have, we work very hard to get it. Now, a lot was made over something that I thought was just so stupid. But Bill Gates' ex-wife, there was a big buildup to this. Melinda Gates, she's announcing who she's going to vote for. And I mean, of course we know she's going to vote for the Democrat, Melinda Gates. And the media just like for a whole day, Melinda Gates is going to reveal who she's supporting in the election. I mean, who cares? So then she sits down with Gayle King. Okay, this is Gayle King, and this is with Melinda Gates. Okay, and they're talking about the election.
Billionaire philanthropist, that's Melinda French Gates, is sharing why she is not shying away from politics.
You know, this thing about being a philanthropist, this is called tax deductions, okay?
This is called a very rich woman who has nothing better to do with her time.
She donates tons of money to charity so that she gets tax deductions and also gets all this virtue signaling attention like she's some big, wonderful person because she donates to charity. She does it for tax deductions and for people to adore her about how charitable she is. So, she's not doing it for, people that donate, the ones that really are doing it for the right reasons, don't brag about it.
These days, we sat down exclusively with her in Seattle recently, and only on CBS Mornings, we like when that happens, she's revealing who she's voting for in this year's presidential election.
It is going to come down in this election. It will come down to the women turning out in the battleground states. Women turned out in the midterm elections and said, this is enough, and we've got to do it again.
Does that mean you will campaign or endorse a particular candidate?
More than likely, yes.
Do you want to share who that candidate might be?
Well, I don't think it would be any surprise. I think, first of all, I think it's really important to say that I have voted in some elections Republican and some elections Democratic.
Okay. I highly doubt that.
Now, when a caller runs that by me, the follow-up question to that is, who's the last Republican you voted for?
Your BS detector goes way up.
And they rarely will give you an answer. And if they do, then there's another path to go. I'm not going to.
If she was a real journalist, she would ask her that.
Yeah,
who's a Republican?
Who's the last Republican you voted for?
Right.
Exactly. Yeah, and it should be dead air.
Well, Gayle King's on her way out. She's in trouble.
Yeah,
she's about to get fired from CBS.
Oh, good. Oh, great.
Yeah.
But in this election, I cannot vote for a man who rolls back women's reproductive rights and says the heinous things that he says about women. So I absolutely am not voting for Trump, and I will vote for Biden.
Shocker. Okay, now first of all, what has he said about women? He's gotten into a spat with Whoopi, and he got into a spat with Megyn Kelly. He said nothing negative about women. He's very respectful of women. That thing at Access Hollywood, he was talking about how sleazy the women of Hollywood are. Okay, he wasn't advocating or doing that. And about rolling back women's reproductive rights. Now, Trump appointed justice to the Supreme Court. The Supreme Court ruled. But in many parts of the country, because of that Supreme Court ruling, many parts of the country have even more liberal abortion rules now, like in California, right? You know, they've said, well, you know, because so many states have restricted abortions, we're going to even make them easier. So, you know, I don't know what this is what she's
first of all
doing. You know, what Melinda Gates is, this is how it works. She's a very rich woman. She's got that, you know, billions of dollars from her weirdo, scummy husband. And she goes around and buys her way on television interviews.
Obviously.
So that she can sound like she's some charitable person that matters.
When was the last time anybody cared what she thought?
No one.
I mean, you know what I mean?
Not even
when
her
I
husband.
saw
That's
that,
why
I
he
was
left her.
like, when I saw that, I was like, who cares?
Exactly what Melinda Gates thinks.
I
It's
don't
bizarre.
really put too much stock in what other people say, you know, and I think most of you have a mind of your own about politics and everything. So I don't know why the left are so enamored of famous people and their opinion. I don't know why they think it sways
Who
voters.
cares what celebrities
It never sways voters.
No.
It's just amazing to me how they spend. I was just reading this other article. I wish my recall was better, but it was talking about California. San Francisco was just deemed the worst city in the country.
Yeah.
And it talked about how Gavin Newsom, some of his policies, and it said if he put this much energy into actually helping his state would be amazing. It would be, but he spends so much time covering his ass and trying to make everything look good on paper. That tells me that's just corruption, that he's just being paid off and he's doing what he's being told by whoever you can imagine, the Chinese or Soros, whoever. And because or it's just complete incompetence, or like Peter Navarro said, it's a mix. Because if they spent so much energy on fixing the problem, but maybe Trump's right. Maybe they just are stupid and they don't know. But remember, you asked Peter Navarro, is it corruption? Are they stupid? And then he said one more thing, and he said it's a trifecta. It's all three. Yeah. And that's what's going on here. They're I think it was incompetent, stupid, and corrupt. Yeah. And that's what's going on. And Trump is really, look, I don't love everything Trump has said, but it doesn't bother me.
I love everything
I know
Trump
you do.
says.
I mean, sometimes he'll say things about women, I'm like, or he'll make a joke at somebody's expense. But I still love the guy, and let me tell you, he knows how to run a country better than anybody, and he knows he's competent, and he knows what the hell he's doing. And he these other people, they don't know what they're doing. I don't understand, and I think it's just incredible to me.
I disagree.
And who cares
I disagree
what
with
this
what Kathy says. I support everything Trump says.
I know
I
you
like
do.
everything he says.
I still like the guy. I love the guy, but
I
sometimes
think when
he says things that make me,
I think when he jokes around making fun of people, it's incredibly funny, and I enjoy that.
I don't love when he does a speech and he comments on somebody's physical appearance when they're right there, and if it's negative, I don't appreciate that.
Fine with me.
I don't like publicly humiliating people, and I don't think that's good politics.
I don't think
do
he
that.
humiliates anyone that doesn't deserve it. Now, I want to thank our Patreon supporters for their support of the program. Thank you so much. And our top Patreon supporters get a live on-air thank you on each and every podcast episode. So the names you will hear now are our top Patreon supporters. I want to thank Andrew and Connie, Christine, ETW, Chuck, D, Pamela, John, Paulette, Carlos, Mike P, Macho, Wesley, Nick, Rick, Heather, David, Maria in Texas, Richard, Alice, K-Mac, LeeZep, Shawna, Constance, George, Brandon, Rob and Trish Wilkerson, and Christy R. These are our top Patreon supporters. Now, if you would like to become a Patreon supporter, there's a link in the description of this and every episode. Just click that link and it'll walk you through on how to become one. I'm Brian, always joined by my wife and co-host Kathy. We'll be right back.
From veteran of the United Kingdom's infantry and author Terrence Lydiard comes the first ever digital root puzzle book, Mind Cam. That's Cam, K-A-M. Available on Amazon. In Mind Cam, you'll find new and unique puzzles that challenge your skills with letter root and word root games. Experience last root standing, cross root, root search, mystic root, and a game that is totally new to you. Root Trip. Invented by the author in the 80s, it's been a secret until now. Mind Cam is suitable for all levels, from beginners to seasoned puzzlers. You can also join the community at mindcam.co.uk. That's Cam, K-A-M. Start your puzzle journey right now and order your copy of Mind Cam from author Terrence Lydiard in paperback and hardcover on Amazon.
Looking to make a six-figure income with little to no prior experience? Want to be your own boss? You can have this too-good-to-be-true career as an auto broker in the automotive industry. Auto brokers are self-employed individuals who work as intermediaries between car dealerships and buyers.
But I don't know anything about being an auto broker.
That's where Go Auto Broker comes in. In our online and print course, How to Become an Auto Broker, you'll learn how to secure leads, the 10 steps to the sale, and all the ins and outs of being an auto broker. An investment in our course is an investment in yourself and your future. Begin your journey and sign up now.
Visit www.goautobroker.com.
Do you want to live a healthier, longer life while saving on your health expenses? You'll learn how to do all that and more with the book from author Dr. Whistler St. Ville, Exercise, the Best Health Insurance, available on Amazon. With health insurance premiums going through the roof, this must-read book will show you a natural and affordable alternative, regular exercise. The author is a renowned physician and sports medicine expert. He shares how you can reduce health costs and boost your well-being through simple, effective exercise. Exercise, the Best Health Insurance, is filled with practical fitness strategies and highlights the incredible benefits of exercise. It also breaks down the complexities of the U.S. health insurance system. Empower yourself with the knowledge to prioritize self-care and learn how to navigate healthcare with confidence. This book is perfect for all ages and fitness levels. It'll become your roadmap to better health and financial security. Don't wait. Start transforming your life today and order your copy of Exercise, the Best Health Insurance from author Dr. Whistler St. Ville. Available on Amazon. Take control of your health and your future now. From authors A.W. Guerrera and Kelly C. Hogan comes Second Strike, Danger Close, the second book in their explosive trilogy, now available on Amazon. 1 year after a devastating terrorist attack on the United States, retired Delta Force member Luke Ellis and college freshman Annie Dedham are back. Together, they embark on a high-stakes, cross-country mission to prevent global war between the United States and China. With the help of a self-aware AI, Luke and Annie face off against Chinese special forces and a sinister AI. But the AI may be under the influence of an even darker force. As the clock ticks down, sacrifices must be made. Will Luke, Annie, and the AI be enough to stop impending war? Find out when you read Second Strike, Danger Close from authors A.W. Guerrera and Kelly C. Hogan. Available on Amazon in Kindle, paperback, and hardcover. Don't miss out on this heart-pounding sequel. Order your copy right now.
You are listening to The Brian Craig Show podcast, broadcasting from sunny South Florida. Brian is joined by his wife and co-host, Kathy. Follow Brian on social media at briancraigshow.com. And now, Brian and Kathy.
Welcome back, everyone. I'm Brian, always joined by my wife and co-host, Kathy. Thanks for tuning in. Make sure that you follow and subscribe on whatever platform you're listening to us on. And if you're listening on YouTube, make sure you like the video, all right? So you had something, Kathy? You
I want to say I just made a donation to the Trump campaign for all the
like
mighty...
Melinda Gates now.
No, for the mighty MAGA lions that we're selling. We make a donation. And they do have a new hat, so I got you one of those too. It's Dark MAGA.
Oh, cool.
And it's a black hat. It says Never Surrender on the side. It's pretty cool. But I did make a nice donation. Thanks to all the people that have bought the line at mightymagalion.com. We make a donation to the Trump campaign. This is the third donation we've made. Mm-hmm. And there's somebody I want you, if you're on Instagram, I'm going to recommend somebody to you. It's Califontanilla, and I'll spell it Kalifon Ontanilla, and she's a black Republican. She says a lot of things about the Democratic Party, and she's made an interesting post today. Democrats want to somehow believe that they freed the slaves. Their delusions run deep. Happy thank the white Union general who told the slaves they were free from Democratic Masters Day, #Juneteenth. And the point she's making is Democrats came up with this holiday to celebrate emancipation. They were the ones who were enslaving the blacks. You see the irony here? I mean, they're the ones who enslaved blacks for hundreds of years. And then they came up with this holiday to celebrate what we did. The Republicans are the ones that freed them.
Well, Juneteenth, okay.
But they come up with a holiday to celebrate it when they're the ones who had them enslaved.
Juneteenth.
It's comical.
It is a fine holiday, but I had no problem with it being a holiday.
No, I don't either.
But it's not.
But the Republicans freed them, not the Democrats.
It's not being taught properly.
That's her point exactly.
What Juneteenth? It's not. Juneteenth is not about the slaves being freed by Lincoln with the Emancipation Proclamation. Juneteenth signifies when the last slaves were freed, and what happened was 6 months after the Civil War. 6 months after the Civil War, the Union Army went into Texas, which was a Confederate state.
Yeah, that's what she's talking about.
And they found where some Democrats were illegally holding blacks as slaves still.
Right.
And they did not know that they had been freed. And
that's what she said. Thank the white Union general who told the slaves they were free.
And they weren't just white Union soldiers; they were Republicans. And when they told those, well, they weren't slaves anymore. They were actually, I guess, what would you call them, Kathy? Detainees, kidnapped victims. I mean, they were no longer slaves. They were being held as slaves. Still.
They weren't told.
They were being held. They were like kidnapped. They were all kidnapped. The Union soldiers were Republicans, and it was Democrats that were illegally holding these people as slaves. They were, I guess, kidnappers.
That's what's really being celebrated, but it's really it's just bizarre how liberals think that they created this holiday to honor, but they're not truthful about it.
Well, what happened on the
what happened, and that it's really honoring a Union Republican for freeing those people, and they're the final people freed. But they make it like it's their holiday that they should be praised for it.
Well,
they're the ones who enslaved everybody. And that's their twisted logic.
The people that were illegally had kidnapped and were holding these African Americans were Democrats, no doubt, because it was in Texas. It was a Confederate state at the time. And it would be so nice if the true story of Juneteenth were being told today, but it's not. Everything that's being told today is a lie and a misrepresentation about it. It should be a holiday, but if you're going to have a holiday about an event, you talk about like the 4th of July is the signing of the Declaration of Independence when the colonies declared their independence. You've got the event. It's discussed. You know what the event is. They've made movies about the event. The Juneteenth is very vague. There's no specifics, and they don't want to talk about the actual event. I heard one person today even say, I couldn't believe this.
Yeah.
This really ticked me off. They said, well, you know, there wasn't modern communications back then, so they didn't know, and there were battles fought after the war was over. Not 6 months, and not to Texas. Okay, believe me, they knew what they were doing.
2 years in this post.
Hold on, let me look. No. There's a little confusion about that. Okay, this is what I'm talking about. It was 2 years after the Emancipation Proclamation,
right?
But the Confederates didn't free their slaves because the war was still going on. It was a little more than 6 months. The war ended in April, and they got to the last slaves illegally being held in December. So it was 2 years after the Emancipation Proclamation,
right.
But it was 6 months after the war had ended. And one thing I've not been able to find, and if somebody knows about this, let me know, because I was looking for this today. I'd like to know what happened to these people that were illegally holding these black people as slaves after the war was over for so long. I don't know what happened to them. They should have been arrested for kidnapping.
It was in Galveston, Texas, which is like along the coast, and it's kind of in the southern part. Is it possible that they didn't even know.
No way. Not 6 months after the war was over. 2 years after the emancipation, they all knew. The slaves didn't know. The slaves didn't know. But the white Democrats holding them knew.
I'm sure there were other slave owners that did not tell their slaves right away, because how would they know? I mean, they weren't like privy to the papers.
The slaves didn't know. The slaves.
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
How many of them held out and didn't tell them right away?
A lot. They did, a lot. Yeah, exactly. It was shocking to people.
So what she's saying is that, see, I didn't even know this. What she's saying is that the holiday is not being taught properly. They're not teaching people that it was a Union general who went down there himself personally, a Republican, a white guy, who informed these slaves who had been enslaved 2 years past the time they were freed. And if he hadn't gone down there, how long would they have kept this ruse going?
It was a lot like the Holocaust. You know, when the armies were getting close to the camps, the Nazis were still doing all their terrible things. And that's the way it is. Now, I wanted to play this clip. Jim Acosta, he had one of the most despicable people on. He had Adam Kinzinger on, and they're talking about the cheap fakes.
Oh,
and while they're talking about cheap fakes, they should talk about Jim Acosta's hair. He's been dyeing his hair black. You know, he's had white hair.
That's a cheap fake.
He's had white hair for years, and and you know, when guys dye their hair black, it looks like they have shoe polish in there. It looks so bad. And you know, I've got some gray. I don't mind it. I don't care.
I like it.
Now, I don't have black hair, so it doesn't stand out as much. But Jim Acosta's had white hair for as long as I can remember. Now, all of a sudden, he's out there. He must use the same hair dye that Bob Costas uses. It's really bad. But this is Jim Acosta with Adam Kinzinger, who is one of Hunter's best friends. Remember the two of them together? I was surprised how tight they are, which tells you everything you need to know about Adam Kinzinger. Anyone who's buddies with Hunter Biden is a real scummy person.
Yeah, I mean, look, his brain is broken. The difference is he does it more energetically. And, you know, and I think it's completely an unfair comparison. But right now, you know, Joe Biden looks a lot more low energy than Donald Trump. And that's Donald Trump's advantage. But these videos, I mean, they're blatant lies. And it used to be, Jim, back in the day, it would be kind of the dark corners of the internet that would put out these fake videos, and then responsible people like...
Does that include when he falls down the stairs on air? Remember that one?
This narrative of theirs is not going to wash.
Nobody buys this crap.
It's a stupid tactic. It really is. I'm in shock.
The Congress and the Senate or the RNC would say, no, we're not going to do that. They're the ones pushing this now. This whole Joe Biden wandering at Normandy, all you had to do was pan out and see that he was talking. He's doing exactly what I would have done as a military guy, which is go over and talk to them and not the other state leaders. You know, him at the fundraiser, if you actually zoom in on his face, he's very mobile. He's motioning. He's smiling at people. He's not frozen. But we're going to see this for the next 5 months. So people just guard yourself when you see those videos.
Don't
Wait
believe
to
what
make
you
a
see.
Judgment until you see the full video in context.
Wow.
Okay, see, that's it. You got to watch the whole videos,
really
the whole
pathetic.
speeches, and the whole context. Yeah. You know, I just got a text message from a friend of mine, PJ. You guys know PJ? And he is a writer with Newsbusters. He goes with us on the cruise. He calls in sometimes. And this is not his article, but he sent me an article from someone named Alex Christie that's in Newsbusters right now. The Daily Show asks Wade, they interviewed Wade, you know, the gigolo for Fannie Willis. Daily Show asked Nathan Wade if the Fannie Willis affair was worth ending democracy. Ending democracy. These people, they're on a whole nother level. The Democrat Party, what's happening right now.
Well, they've always been lunatics.
Yeah, but what's happening right now with the Democrat Party, we are witnessing and living through one of the major parties collapse. It is becoming another party.
Well, yeah, and this whole idea
fringe
of taking Biden's watching the whole video, that's not going to work either, because it's only going to make his freezing more pronounced.
Yeah.
Because when you see him, say you got a 30-second clip, right, of him freezing and getting all rigid, okay? So then say the media says, oh, well, we're going to release the full 10-minute video so you can see the whole thing, right? Mm-hmm. That's going to make him look worse, because you're going to see him maybe acting normal, and then all of a sudden he stops and freezes, and it's going to be even more pronounced. There's nothing they can do to fix this.
Yeah.
There is nothing they can do to do damage control on this. And I'm telling you, something has shifted in the last 2 days. The media was going after him. They were attacking him. They were talking about this. They were releasing all these videos, all this stuff. And now all of a sudden they're telling you it's a lie. Don't believe he basically said, don't believe what you see for yourself.
Yeah.
How insulting, because Joe Biden is not going to quit. They're stuck with him. And this is some genius, and I say that loosely, genius spin on how they're going to fix this. And this is what they're doing. This is their brilliant idea to tell people that that they're hallucinating.
Now,
that's crazy.
Pelosi tweeted today. She's tweeted something for virtue signaling for Juneteenth. She's talking about the Tulsa race massacre. Okay, and this is what she
is she wearing her tashiki too while she's talking about
this is what she tweeted. Okay, this is Pelosi. 103 years ago, white supremacist terrorists in Tulsa maimed and murdered hundreds of Black Americans and wiped away a generation of Black wealth. Yes, the Black Wall Street and everything. They were very wealthy, very successful.
Yes.
The Tulsa, this is what Pelosi goes on to say. The Tulsa race massacre must be remembered with shame as it challenges us to carry on the fight for racial justice in our own time. Now, everything Nancy Pelosi says there is true, but she's left something out. Those white supremacists that maimed and murdered hundreds of Black Americans and wiped away generations of Black wealth, all of them were Democrats.
That's right.
All of them were Democrats. And the Blacks who were wiped out in Tulsa were all Republicans. And
exactly.
She left that little part out because it doesn't fit their agenda. Well, listen, we're out of time for today. I'm Brian, always joined by my wife and co-host Kathy. Thanks, everyone, for tuning in. We will talk to you next time.